You see, Doctor?
How y'all doing?
Okay.
I am happy to join with you today in what goes down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 80 years ago, a great American whose symbolic shadows will stand today signed a Emancipation Proclamation. This monument decree came as the great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seed in flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long nights of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negroes is still sadly crippled by the monuments of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negroes live on a lonely island of poverty in a mist-based ocean of materialistic prosperity. 100 years later, the Negroes are still languishing in the corners of the American society. Find himself in an exile in his own land. And so we have come here today to demonstrate the shameful conditions and that since come to our nation capital cash aid check. When the architects of our republic wrote the manifest words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they would sign a promissory note to whichever American was to fall there. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men and white men, will all be guaranteed the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on their promissory note, insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring the obligations, America has given the Negro people a bad check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe this Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great battle of opportunity of this nation. And so we have come to cash this check, a check. This will give us upon demand of riches, freedom, and the security of justice. We have also came to a hallowed spot to remind Americans of fierce urges of now. This is no time to engage in luxury of cooling off or taking the tranquilizer drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real promise of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark valleys of segregation to the sunlit path of racism justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksand of racism and justice to the solid rocks of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all God's children. It would be fatal for our nation to overlook the urges of this moment. Sweltering summers, Negroes, discontent with not past. 96-3 is not the end, but it's the beginning. And those who hope that Negroes need to blow off steam and will not be content, we have a rude awakening if the nation returns to the business of as usual. And there will be neither rest, nor tranquility in America until the Negroes is granted the citizenship rights. The whirlwind of revolts will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright days of justice emerge. But there is something that I must say to my people. Who stands the one's threshold which leads into the palace of justice, and to the process of gaining our righteousness place. We must not be guilty of wrong deeds. Let us seek satisfying our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on a high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creativity prospect to degenerate into physical violence again and again. We must rise to the manifest heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militance which has engulfed the Negro community must lead us to a distrust of all white people, for many of our white brothers are evident by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. And they have come to realize that freedom bound to our freedom. There are those who are asking the vote of civil rights. When will we be satisfied? We can be satisfied as long as the Negro victim of unspeakable horror, police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our bodies heavy with the fatigue of travel cannot gain longing in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the cities. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negroes base mobility from smaller ghettos to larger ones. We cannot be satisfied as long as the children are stripped on their selfhood and robbed of their own dignity by stating for whites only. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negroes in Mississippi cannot vote and the Negroes in New York believe he has nothing for which to vote. No, no, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down the like waters, righteousness like mighty streams. I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have came from fresh, narrow jails. Some of you have came from areas where the quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of prosecution and staggering by the winds of police brutality. You have been veteran of creativity, suffering, continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums, the ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow the situation can and will change. Let us not swallow in the valleys of despair. I say to you today, my friends. And so even though we face difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It's a dream deeply rooted in American dream. I have a dream that one day the nation would rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold the truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live a nation where they will be not judged by the color of their skin, but be judged by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racism, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and notification, one day right in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley should be excelled, and every hill and mountain should be made low, and rough places would be made plain, and the crooked places would be made straight, and the glory of the Lord should reveal, all flesh shall see together. This is our hope, and this is our faith. This goes back to the South. With this faith, we will be able to hail out the mountains of despair, stones of hope. With this faith, we'll be able to transform jangling discords of nations into a beautiful synthetic brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, pray together, struggle together, go to jail together, stand up for freedom together, knowing that I will be free one day. And this would be the day. This will be the day when God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country ties of thee, sweet lady of liberty, of thy I sing, lands where my father dies, lands of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And every American is to be a great nation, he must become true. And so, let freedom ring from the hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heights of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow Rockies of Carolina. Let freedom ring from the slopes of California. But not only let freedom ring from the stone mountains of Georgia. Let freedom ring, look out, mountains of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill from Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we'll be able to spread up that day with all God's children, black men, white men, Jews, Gentiles, Gentiles, Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the words of an old Negro spiritual. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. I'm free at last.